My little piano piece, A Flowing Brook in Yunnan, was written for the German pianist Susanne Cassel for her special project Beethoven 250th anniversary. I followed Suzanne's guidelines, which is every piece has to relate to Beethoven's music. I adopted the theme of the second movement from Beethoven's Symphony No. 6, seen by the Brook. Beethoven's theme gradually becomes my piece. It is based on the well-known Chinese folk song. My attempt is to make the continuation of Beethoven's Brook flow to China and become Chinese Brook, and try to symbolize that Beethoven's spirit is immortal and the water is universal. There is a Chinese superstitious saying, 庚子夜, which is this year, every 60 years in Sogo. 庚子夜 is always eventful and disastrous. Somehow, it is true. Right now, we are facing all kinds of unprecedented catastrophes, politically, psychologically, and humanitarianly. Since this year is a big year for Beethoven, he inspires us more than ever. He said, music is the one incorporeal entrance into the higher world of knowledge, which comprehends mankind, but which mankind cannot comprehend.
Welcome to you all, and thank you for being part of this dialogue. As you know, this was a program that I was to have brought to China last spring, thanks to the diplomacy of Chen Yi and Zhou Long. But this will be my only performance of it until we're allowed to travel again. We all have in common a Chinese upbringing, whether Chinese born, as several of you are, or as descendants of Chinese born parents. I think it's fair to say that we all experience life through the lens of a mixed identity. China has a 5,000-year musical history with its own principles and practices, its own concept of tuning systems, of beauty, and indigenous instruments dating back to ancient times, but still in use today. You all have such distinctive voices and are very different from each other. For me, a first generation American, you and your music are my windows into the world of everyone up my family tree. I love to tell the story of practicing Ganru's gong movement from the sweet ancient music, which is on the concert. I was practicing it at my parents' home in New Jersey, and it's the one and only time that my father, a civil engineer who taught at CCNY, padded downstairs to listen to me practice and interject a criticism. And he said, "Gloria, it's too fast." I said, "Really? What do you mean?" He said, "It has to sound like the bells being played in the temple on the hilltops and resounding through the valleys. It's too fast." So that comment changed my concept of the piece, and it actually changed many things about the way I think about music and resonance and space. So I love that story. And now I'd like to turn it over to you to ask, what is the role that your Chinese identity and your Chinese soul shape your music? Do you feel a fluidity between the two cultures that you inhabit? Or how does a dual experience of the world inspire your music?
Yeah, when I was in China, study at the Shanghai Conservatory of Music, right? During that time, it was really just what do you call it? The Cultural Revolution ended, then the really open. When I took the Chinese folk song, classes, I thought it was very uncouth, unsophisticated. I always love, I born in Shanghai and just love the Western sound. But when I came to United States, this country, I went to UCLA. The Elaine Barkin, my professor said, "Oh, you should just rediscover the Chinese heritage." Since then, I'm really started interested, finding my own voices. I try to combine the Chinese, especially the melodic part, because I think the Chinese music is simple pentatonic, right? And but it add a lot embellished tones, bending, and modality. But I always had open-minded. I open mind to every kinds of music.
Your piece is practically a love letter to China.
Oh, thank you, thank
It's
you.
very, it's very,
Yeah.
it's lovely and wistful and beautiful.
See.